Hey everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Today is June 1st, 2016. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles. So I hope and believe that wherever you are right now today, you're making it a great day. Why? Because every day is a day of gratitude. If you wake up, you have your mind, you can control your thoughts, you're in a really good place. And I want to remind you also that when it comes to the past weekend with Memorial Day, it's so important that we really reflect on that time, that the veterans, those men and women, they really are the true Avengers. They're the real DC and Marvel heroes. They're the ones that have given us our sustained freedoms because of what they've sacrificed, their minds, their bodies, their body parts. So it's so important that we really show respect to the veterans, and those men and women really should be honored at all times, not just on Memorial Day, but every day I think should be treated as a day in which the veterans should be honored with truth, integrity, and compassion, and more importantly, with love and respect. So that's my quick soap opera moment here, but I think it's so important that we reach out to the veterans. You know, I also want to talk briefly about the game that's coming up with the Cavaliers and Golden State. You know, think about LeBron James. He has been MVP for 4 times. Steph Curry, he's been MVP twice. This will be LeBron's 6th time back into the final, which is really unprecedented and phenomenal. If you think about it, the last time this happened was like in '66 with Russell. So it's really amazing that we have this extraordinary athletic prowess that's going to be on display for us coming up this Thursday with the finals in the NBA. So, I'm just a sports junkie, so I just want to say to both teams, congratulations. And I got an email the other day from someone asking me to talk about who I think is going to win. I'm not going to prognosticate or say anything. I wish them both the best. That's about it. Now, I want to tell you about our guest today. I'm really fortunate that we have someone on who is really an icon in the entertainment area. But he's also someone who has an extraordinary amount of heart, and he's someone who's about mentorship, about giving back to the community, and more importantly, he's about really taking young artists and molding them to be great, because he is greatness. He's about perfection. He's about making a difference. He's about giving us the best entertainment on television and production with music, with his new artists. He's someone who's really about letting us know that if you want perfection, well, who do you want to have as a mentor? Well, Andrew Lane. So I want to welcome to the show, Andrew. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, thank you, man. Good seeing you, too.
Oh,
man.
absolutely. I'm glad to be here. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your beginnings. You were born here in San Diego, California.
That's correct, yeah.
You went off to Atlanta, and now you're back in L.A. What drives you to do what you do in the music industry?
Well, being born to do this, because even as a kid, I used to imagine like songs in my head already created, and I used to, hum them. And then my dad was an avid, supporter of what I did. So whatever I needed, if I needed a drum set, he would buy it.
Yes.
A Fender Rhodes.
Yes.
My first instrument was a flute.
That's fantastic.
So
difficult instrument too.
It was because I went to El Segundo School in Compton.
Right here in L.A.
That's right. It's called McNair now. And to learn how to play the flute, they would give us a 7-Up bottle.
Yes.
And we would have to blow it.
right.
To be able to get a
Get the
tone.
right. Well, what about your mom? Was she also instrumental in your career?
Amazing, because, it's great because so many times you hear many stories of people, parents, are against it, but both my mom and dad were just so, into.
They were true advocates for you.
And I learned how to play that song. I don't want to date myself, but MASH,
Right. That's way before my time, too. I can't say nothing.
It was a song called Suicide is Painless, and
yes.
I would learn that. My mom would say, can you play this theme from MASH? And even to the day, she asked me to do
Really?
it. But she'd always support it, take me to band practice, went to Jordan High.
Yes, right here.
Me and Tommy Ford went to school together.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
So. Small world.
Small world.
Well, what about your brothers and sisters? Did you have any?
Yeah, I have one brother and 2 sisters.
Okay.
My brother who's doing amazing. He was in an accident about over 20 years ago, that paralyzed him from the waist down.
Sorry to hear that.
But he was a great piano player, but now he's doing amazing. He's a radio personality.
We'll have to have him on the show.
Yeah, he's great. His name is Amadeus Lane. That's
really. And what's his show? Because we'll plug it also.
It's KCET.
Fantastic.
Yeah, over there.
We'll have Amadeus on the show to definitely talk about his story for sure.
And my sister, we were playing in a band. My dad we were on a band, had a family band together. We played weddings. And everything else.
What about this? So many artists actually have their beginnings in like church settings, and they'll do a lot of civil events, in the city, and they'll sing at concerts, or they'll sing at auditoriums, open with the anthems and everything like that. Did you do any of that?
Mine started straight out of Compton, basically.
Really?
we grew up in Compton. It was funny because Compton was it's like the hub city.
Yes,
So
it is.
what my dad used to do, he used to like get the guitar and play Jose Feliciano songs, the
beautiful.
Beatles songs.
Yes,
so
yes.
we used to all be congregated around him. And now his family grew up playing like church music and pastors and things like that in Fresno, but we kind of grew up on the pop side.
Yes.
Of everything, the pop and the Latina side and the jazz side. So
Great.
that kind of molded us into like being multifarious in whatever we do.
Right, and a really great thing about that, it really gives you this eclectic appreciation for
Right.
all types of music, because
true.
there's no genre that's better than any other type. But when you blend them together, then you really get this beautiful marriage of everything.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. What's your favorite genre of music, you'd say, overall? If you could pick and say that's something that when you need to go to that place of calm and really relax, where do you go?
Wow. Okay. I like to go to the 70s.
Yes.
Because back then you had.
That's when I was born, basically.
Yeah, see,
Yes,
I remember
late,
that.
Late time.
Because what the 70s did, it was that it molded the whole shape of the industry.
Absolutely.
Because, you had your Earth, Wind, and Fire, you had Aerosmith, you had Kansas, you had Boston, you had. That's when Michael made the transition
That's
from,
true.
Michael to the superstar Off the Wall,
Absolutely.
the Wiz and everything. So
Yes.
it was kind of like the compass for the good times.
Yes,
And Chic
yes.
did that. That was kind of like the barometer of what made the industry what it is today.
Right. It's really true. And you look back at some of those, what I call the soap operification of music, like All in the Family, The Jeffersons.
Oh, yeah. Norman Lear did all that stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Norman
Yeah.
Lear did a lot,
Yeah.
So you continue on that legacy of making a difference in this community.
Absolutely.
Now, what about the artist? When you're looking at an artist, for example, what gives you the insight of saying that, hey, they have just what it takes. They have that indescribable, je ne sais quoi that makes you know that, they'll make a difference. Because it's not always simply the look. Because someone can be beautiful or be buffed or be even somewhat talented and not have work ethic, not be driven, or not be a perfectionist. So what do you look at?
I look at the heart.
Yes.
Because the heart is really the seat of motivation.
I agree with
and it's
you.
like the BPMs of what drives you
I
into
agree
the
with you.
industry. So I look at the heart, I look at the determination, I look at their eyes.
Yes.
Because the eyes, it's like really the lamp to the soul.
It really is.
So,
yep.
And if that moves me, then I'm
Then
willing
you know.
to work with them as well, too.
That's fantastic. So you look at it as being a real synergistic relationship that you have to want them, and you're hoping also that they're going to want what you have to offer.
Right, exactly.
Now, what about the parents? How do they come into play with that?
Well, what's really good in this sense that probably 95% of the parents that I work with are very supportive.
Yes.
You're going to hear with Talene and Kaitlin.
Yes.
To have their full support is just so important.
It really
because
is.
So many times you get mommingers or daddingers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I don't like that
Right.
at all.
Yeah, because they don't have the experience. You
No.
bring to the table wisdom, experience, but more importantly, you can give them a vision of where you think their children's
Right.
careers can go and where they will go with your assistance.
Absolutely. Because I tell them, look, if I was a professor at school, if I was Phil Jackson,
Yes.
on
They
the
wouldn't
side,
ask any questions.
you wouldn't be on the sidelines.
No
Phil,
way.
get Kobe out.
No, they wouldn't do
They'd
that.
be like, Usher, security, get him out of here.
Exactly.
So, and plus, this is the freedom of speech.
Yes, it is.
Let the artist be the artist.
Absolutely.
You got to let them have their, their freedom in
Right.
doing so.
And I think the beauty of what you're saying is that when you give the artist freedom like that, it gives them a chance to really indoctrinate their entire essence of creativity.
Absolutely.
It gives them a chance to go within and then explode with effervescence of who they really are.
That's right. And you really get the true essence of freedom of speech in
Yes,
song.
yes.
If you take that away from them, then we become like a totalitarianistic
I totally agree
regime.
with you.
And we don't want that
We
at all.
don't want that.
Yeah.
You want the unique qualities that each artist has to offer.
Right, exactly.
What about you? When you look back at your career, who would you say were your mentors who gave you this instinctive ability to do what you do so well, which is to work hard, to strive for perfection, and to really have a vision and an eye for grooming and mentoring really great artists?
I had great ones. Wayne Henderson from the Jazz Crusaders.
Yes.
Wilton Felder, people like Quincy
Felder.
Jones.
Quincy Jones also.
Quincy Jones, L.A., Babyface.
Yes.
All these guys, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Prince, because they showed us not just to be one directional, but in all directions, because all
Absolutely.
music leads to all directions. You have to reach everybody.
Absolutely. One thing I read about Prince once I thought was really fascinating is he said it's so important that artists understand that they have to do one major thing, and that is to own their music. They have
Absolutely.
to own their catalogs.
Right.
And what your thoughts about it?
Yeah, it's important. And sometimes, when you come in there, you're not an owner.
Absolutely.
You have to be a renter or a leaser.
Yes.
But then eventually become an owner. So, like, with the artists that I have here, especially like with Talene and Kaitlin,
yes,
they write.
Absolutely.
They get involved. They own a piece of their publishing.
Yeah, and they should.
And it's important because that's a part of the real estate. That's a part of your legacy.
Absolutely.
That you have.
When it comes to legacy, what do you think your legacy will be in the music industry and television? Because you've been a producer, you've been a writer, you've been an artist, you've been a part of a group, you've had an extensive career, you've managed well, not only managed, but you've been a part of the music, it's called, it'll come to me in a second. But you manage so many different groups. When you look back, what do you say will be your legacy?
Well, a lot of people end up being like great songwriters.
Yes.
And great producers. I want to be the great artist breaker.
Absolutely.
Because anybody can write a great song.
Absolutely.
And produce a great song. But how many people could really say, I broke this artist into
Absolutely.
the industry?
Absolutely.
And that's what the legacy that I want.
Well, I think it's a great legacy that you've definitely forged ahead to do that. I wanted to say High School Musical.
Yeah, High School Musical, that's right.
So High School Musical, Hannah Montana, that soundtrack. I mean, you've been involved in the careers of Tony Braxton. You've done so much. I mean, what I find amazing about you is that the sustainability of your career. Many people come and go, one-hit wonders, but you haven't done that. You have come, and you have conquered, and you continue to conquer.
Absolutely. And what keeps me is to continue to work with young artists. Because
Yes.
when you work with young artists,
It keeps you young, too.
that's right.
Right.
It keeps your music fresh. Too.
Yes, it does.
You're not just stable and doing something that sounds dated.
Absolutely.
Because these guys,
They're not.
You can't take them for granted.
No, you
because
cannot.
They're the ears and the eyes of the industry, and you have to listen to them.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts about what I call I always make up these new terms every show, the YouTubification of music. When you look back, you see people like Chris Menendez, great artist, and Justin Bieber, so many people that actually broke these glass ceilings of social media by becoming great artists using YouTube as a stepping platform. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I have a double-edged sword on that.
Yes.
Because on one end, it's been a great vehicle for the industry. Because the visualization of who they are
Yes.
and how they could do cover songs and bring it
Right.
to life. On the other hand, you don't want to be a YouTube artist either.
Right.
It's like you don't want to be a karaoke king
Exactly.
or queen because you could be
Exactly.
locked into that situation.
Right. Unless that's what you want.
All right. If that's
Right.
what you want, cool.
Good
You
luck.
know what I mean?
Right.
But if you want to use it to annex and use it as a springboard
Right.
and then do your own after that, then it works out great.
Absolutely. And I think it works out great if someone has the opportunity to work with someone of your caliber, because you're all about excellence, which I think is, for me, always important, to go for perfection all the time. Mediocrity is never, ever, ever an option.
That's
it
right.
really isn't.
It's not. I remember when Denzel said on Remember the Titans.
Yes, I remember that
we
movie.
are perfect. That's what he said.
Yes, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And I think when we strive for perfection, it gives an opportunity to really go to the place of expressing who we really are at the most fundamental depth of who we are, which is greatness. And not
That's
to
right.
settle for being okay or
Yeah.
being like somebody else. And what about this? How do you train your artists to not be like Rihanna, not be like Drake, not be like Whitney or Mariah, but how do you fashion them to really think about being and coming into their own?
Well, I like to build their sound around them, and you
Yes.
communicate and you talk to them.
Yes.
You find out what they like, what they want. They do have a voice.
Absolutely.
And you build this infrastructure around them. That way they can have their own monument
Absolutely.
and their own,
It's their unique monument.
yeah, that's right, uniqueness,
Right.
So, just be yourself. Don't try to sound like anybody else, and that's what I love about them.
I think it's fantastic. Well, I know what you brought two of your artists. You actually brought four of them, so we're going to have them on the show. It's actually the biggest show we've had, so you're breaking grounds here.
All right,
Yeah. We've had like a part of a basketball team here once, but now having all of you artists on and yourself, this is like a groundbreaking show, so thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your artists here. We
All
have
right.
Talene and we have Kaitlin.
Hi.
How you doing, Talene? Hey, Kaitlin. Welcome. Well, let's hear about you guys. Where are both of you from?
I'm from Orange County.
Yes. And what about you, Talene?
I'm from Burbank, California.
Well, welcome, both local state ladies here. We're happy to have you here. So let's hear about your drives for being in the music industry. what pushes you guys to do this? You know how competitive it is. You know how intense it is. You're working with this phenomenal mentor like Mr. Andrew Lane. What pushes both of you to always want to do your best, not only for him but for you? Taleen is up.
I think what drives me is like my parents, because they're very supportive of what I do and they're always there for me and they want like the best for me. And so, yeah.
I think that's fantastic. What about you, Kaitlin?
And then mine is I love music, and it makes me feel really good all the time. When I'm sad, it makes me feel better. And I just want to be that artist that, like, when someone's sad, they, like, turn on their iPods and, like, I want to listen to Caitlin. Like, she'll make me feel better.
That's fantastic. you know, I love hearing about what both of you are saying is that you both, it's clear from looking at you and talking about you and looking at the joy in your eyes that you have this passion for what you're doing, and that this is not about the fame, because fame can be very fleeting. And it's not about the celebrity, because celebrity, again, can be very fleeting. And it's not about the money. And as we all know, all money's not good money.
True.
So it's so wonderful that both of you are focused on doing what you really, really love. What's your favorite songs that you've written so far?
One of my personal favorite songs that I've written is called Wasted Time, and it's pretty much like about like a guy that basically like wasted my time.
Yes.
But it's one of my
We will do
personal
that.
favorites.
We will do that a lot. Trust me on that one.
That's true, yeah.
Yes, as Mr. Lane said, yeah, we'll waste a lot of your time. You know, and what did you love about that song? Just writing it or the actual performance of the song?
I loved writing it and I loved performing too. I just love to like make the audience feel like they're having a great time and they love like what I'm doing. So yeah.
And do you like dancing also? Do both of you guys enjoy dancing?
I love dancing. I've been dancing since I was 6.5 years old, actually, and I do it ever since. And now I'm 14, so yeah.
It's fantastic. We're about the same age. It's fantastic. what about you, Kaitlin?
Mine is probably 24/7, and it's about a boy who I think about 24/7.
I love this song. I listen to it on YouTube. It is so hot. Yes, exactly. It is hot.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, you absolutely rock that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh
it.
yes, loved it. And it's same with you, Taleen. I listened to Kama Sutra. I listened to Falling Out. I believe this song. They're all very, very, very beautiful.
Thank
Love
you.
them a lot.
Thank you.
You know, I think it's so wonderful to talk with inspiring young women who can really, you know, tell other women, other young girls specifically, that if you have dreams, go for it. You can do it. You know, don't be held back by what other people say. Don't be bullied. Don't think that you're less than. A woman should be treated just like a guy. There's really no difference. And you should get paid just like a guy, too. Always remember that. It shouldn't be 70 cents on the dollar. You know,
That's
it's
true.
the truth.
You're right. You're right.
It really is. When it comes to an artist, an actor, a writer, a producer, you should get paid just like everybody else. You know, your creativity is not less than. It really isn't. You know. Now, what about your families? How supportive are they about this? Because you're going on this new venture in life right now. Mr. Lane is going to take you on this great Alice in Wonderland journey. You know.
Mad Hatter.
After that, talk about it.
My family is very supportive. They make so many sacrifices for me, and I thank them so much.
Yes.
And I don't know what I would do without them, and I love them so much.
That's fantastic. What about you? Have brothers and sisters in this industry?
I have
also?
one younger sister, and she's like in artist development right now, so training her.
Fantastic. Congratulations. I love hearing that. What about you, Kaitlin?
My parents are also really supportive. I'm the only child, so
Really?
yes.
So you get all the love, hugs, and kisses.
All of it.
You know, the great thing about that is that as you grow as an only child, it gives you a chance to really remember that the highest art of humanity is in service and in giving back. So into whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
So it's so important that as your parents continue to bless and love you, that you bless and love other people with your generosity, with your creativity, and with your ability to volunteer and do more in your community also.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's fantastic.
Thank
you know,
you.
I can tell you right now, Mr. Lane, you have to be pretty proud of these young women.
You know, I'm like Daddy Drew.
Are you
You know, because they hold the highest regard for professionalism
Yes.
in the industry. You know, and with Taleen, you know, we just did a song about the floods in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
It was a very horrid debacle over there, you know,
Yes.
that happened.
Yes.
And so we wrote a song, and we'll soon have it, you know, but she put her heart and soul in it, you know, and so it's just amazing to see somebody at a young age and classy too at the same
Absolutely.
time. And with Kaitlin, it's just like, whenever she comes to the studio, I mean, you can't have an attitude and and look at that.
Right. Exactly.
And I love her dad too, Chuck. Chuck, that's my dog
Right.
We're Laker lovers, man. Laker lovers.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. To the end.
To the
You know,
end.
and I got to tell you, just a quick aside, Lakers and Clippers, I've always loved both of those teams.
Right.
And it's going to be really interesting now to see how the evolution occurs
That's true.
without the Kobe Bryant database there, basically. It's going to be really intriguing.
Exactly.
So we will see.
That's
I have
right.
2 words. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. That's right, Laker Nation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Kaitlin Tilly, as you continue to grow and develop, what do you see as your dreams, let's say 5 years from now? Where do you guys see yourselves?
I see myself as being somebody known not just like for like they're famous and all that stuff, but like being a really good role model towards the younger generation, because I feel
Yes.
like a lot of artists today don't set a good example, and I feel like it's very important to set a good example, be a really good role model to the younger generation.
Well, you're doing that today. Trust me on that. What about yourself, Kaitlin?
I actually am really excited. Hopefully in 5 years, I would love to be touring.
Yes.
I love traveling and I love learning about like new, places and cultures and getting to know like what they do and what they eat. I just love learning about new stuff.
It's fantastic, because one thing about traveling, I love traveling also, is that it really gives you an opportunity to appreciate the world and to see how we're really more of the same than we are different.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it gives us a chance to really live in, I think, a place of inclusivity, knowing, understanding that no one's better than no one else because of their race, their creed, their sex, their sexuality, their gender identity. There really is no difference. And it's so important to really to love and appreciate everybody and to know that everybody is important just because of, period.
That's
We don't have to fill in the blank.
And that's a great point, because today there's so much xenophobia
Oh, absolutely.
with people because of who they are,
Yes.
what race they are, and
Yes.
everything. And it's just, when you look at these girls, she's from Sri Lanka, her family's
Right.
from Sri Lanka,
Right.
and Kaitlin has a very interesting mix, and she represents the whole. Tell her,
Right.
I mean, it's a great.
So my mom is Filipino
Yes.
and my dad is Lebanese.
Pretty interesting mix, absolutely. But it gave us this beautiful product of creativity.
Exactly,
It's fantastic. When you look at these 2 artists yourself, Mr. Lane, what do you see as your defining gift to them?
Well, you want to give of yourself.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you want to say, it's not what I did, it's what I did for somebody else.
Absolutely.
Because that's the greatest gift you can give, and that's yourself.
I am totally with you. I'm totally with you.
And that beats any Grammys, any kind of accolades. You want to give yourself, because that stays with them for life.
Absolutely. When you said that, it made me think of something that I just shared with my mother. We were talking the other day, and she said, what was the greatest gift that I gave you all these years? She said, what present was it? And I told her, I said, it wasn't the presents that you gave me, it was your presence
Ooh,
that made the difference.
Wow, that's deep. I
And-
love that.
And I want to tell my mother,
I love that.
thanks. And my mother said, Levi, I said, what's the matter? She said, you're making me cry. So I think it's so true,
That's
that
true.
it's when, even if we have children, I don't have any kids yet.
Me
It's
either, yeah.
but having children, I think, it's about being present for them and not giving them presents.
Right,
'cause
exactly. That's true.
Those will fade. But knowing that you were at the soccer game, that you were at the recording studio, that you said, hey, good job, Talene. You said, fantastic, Kaitlin. I think those are the things that will always be embedded, because those are memories. The gifts fade away, though.
That's true.
So-
They'll rust, they'll mold, they'll
Exactly.
dissipate.
They'll dissipate.
Yeah.
But that memory, if it's a good one, it will stay for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
I have to thank you guys for being here. It's really wonderful, Kaitlin, to see what you're going to be doing in the future. You're saying the same with you, Talene. I can't wait to follow your career. So I'm going to be following you all on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Tell us about your social media platforms. Where can people reach out to you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Takin Silva. That's Talin, last name Silva,
Love it.
Silva. And then my Twitter is a little different. It's little t and then Takin Silva, and Facebook is Takin Silva too.
Fantastic.
Go, girl, you
Love
go.
it. Yep, she's talking. And what about you, Caitlin?
And mine, it's both for Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
It's Kate Jade, and it's CaitJade.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to coming to your concerts. I'm looking forward to talking about you on my social media platforms. It's right now we have over I've had over 2.6 million views on YouTube. So my goal is to do what I can to promote both of you and to talk about you and to let people know and let the world get prepared, because they better put their running shoes on, because Kaitlin and Tilly, they're both in the house.
That's right, the dream.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to thank both of you for being with us, and I wish you the greatest of success, and I know that God will continue to bless you on your path. And the key I believe that I can share with you is to just stay focused. No matter what other people say, the haters, the naysayers, they really will eventually dissolve into their native nothingness. So focus on your dreams. Focus on your goals. Be clear what your purpose is in life, because every life is purposeful. And don't let anyone tell you can't do it. You have the great Mr. Andrew Lane here who will really direct you. So always listen, be open for constructive criticism, take nothing to heart, and just grow, grow, grow. I know you're going to do it.
Thank you so much for having
Absolutely.
us.
Congratulations. Absolutely. Well, Andrew Lane, you got a lot to work with here.
I do, and I'm loving every minute of it, too.
I think it's fantastic, man.
Absolutely.
You know, when you see what you're doing in the community, your legacy will be really profound. It's not simply in music, but also being what they do with respect to philanthropic issues, humanitarian events. I mean, look at Talene. I mean, already, approaching you saying, hey, let's write a song so we can give some funds to the Sri Lankan survivors in the flood.
True.
I mean, think about that. How many people, 20 or 30, think about giving back?
No, they don't.
They don't.
They think about getting
Exactly.
instead of giving.
I can't tell you how many physicians I work with when I'm going to an event. I say, hey, it's a volunteer event. Can you come and talk? And they're like, Levi, how much I'm getting paid? I said, well, you're not getting paid. I said, you're going to feel so good just giving. They're like, can't make it. They will not do it. And they forget that you only get what you're willing to give away.
That's true.
That's it. It's a
Absolutely.
real basic metaphysical principle. So if you give more money away, you get more money.
Right.
You give more forgiveness away and more love and kindness, get ready, you're going to get more of that back. So many people don't get it, Mr. Lane.
That's true. And there's not a bank account that could hold what, graciousness
There's
and
none.
giving back.
There's none. There's none. I think we live in a place of gratitude. I think life gives to us more than we could ever even imagine. It's unbelievable. Life is like that.
Absolutely.
It really is. Well, let's talk about your other artists, 'cause I know we have two other artists that are going to join us. They're a little bit different from Kaitlin and from Tilly. So I want to talk to them momentarily. So, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Glad
What's up,
you're
man?
here.
Thank you for
Glad
having
to
us.
be here. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So you want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Stoney Scott.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And yourself?
I'm Trishna.
Yes, Trishna from India.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about your transition from India to here. I want to
Okay.
talk about your family that you've lived with. I want to talk about how you're growing as an artist. There's a lot. So Stoney Scott, we're gonna start with you. Where are you from, young man?
I am from Midland, Texas, so the desert.
Fantastic.
I am from the desert. Growing out of the desert like a cactus,
But
man.
that's okay. But you know what? The great thing about that, you can survive in the desert. You can survive anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
dude, you really can.
That's great.
It's
I mean,
flat, man. There's nothing out there.
that's okay, man. And you started when you were like 7 years old in a
Yes,
recording
sir.
studio.
7 years old. I didn't get to the studio part till like 12. 7 years old was like in my room, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying, with the camera and just taking off the video and just using the audio, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And you did a lot of stuff on YouTube also, correct?
Oh, yeah, for a long time. That's when I started.
So you see yourself as this evolving hip hop artist. What drives you to do this?
What drove me to do it was, at first, my dad was a huge Eminem fan.
Yes.
And
Well,
Tupac,
who's not?
Dre, you know.
Right.
But that was like the time, you know, like
Yes.
95, you know, that was when Eminem was like huge, man.
Yes.
And it was like every parent was telling you, don't listen to Eminem. You can't listen to Eminem. You know, they say you can't do it. You got to do it. So I was like, I had my little disc and I'd hide under the covers, listen to Eminem, memorize the words. That was it, man.
Too much, man. So Jared Scott, you were listening when you weren't supposed to be listening.
Man, 5 years old. My dad took me to Best Buy. He bought me the Eminem show. And the lady at the counter was like, you're not buying this for your son, are you? He's like, no way, man.
right.
We walked out. He's like, happy birthday. Here you go.
Here you go.
I was like, all right.
Swag that.
Exactly. Well, what about this, Scott Stone? What did your mom think about this happening?
No, mom hated it. One story I know is she took the CD out of the deck when she heard it, and she put it, you know, like right there, and
Yes.
just slammed it. Bah!
Did she
Slammed
really?
it. She said, you don't listen to this anymore. This, you know. And then over the years, you know, as I got older, I just like, Mom, it's a persona. Like he hasn't really killed that many people. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yet.
He hasn't done that.
Yet. Right.
Yeah. So I was like, so she began to grow on it, and then she helps me with my dream now. But
It's fantastic.
5 years old, that wasn't okay.
That wasn't the issue. So the great thing is that you do have support at home.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great.
For
And
sure.
what about your family, your brothers and sisters?
I
Are
have
they
2 little
involved?
sisters.
Are they involved in music?
They're really, really young.
So not yet.
So, but you will catch them at home, like playing on the karaoke.
Really?
Singing on karaoke because they say they want to be like Bubba, you know.
So they're in basic artist development.
Oh yeah, they're gonna probably do something
Well,
creative.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about yourself, Trishna.
Alrighty.
Let's hear about you, lady. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you're from India.
Yes.
So you went from India to the U.S. I want to
Yes.
hear about that transition.
I was adopted.
Yes.
I was adopted when I was 1. And I was adopted to an American family. I grew up in Ohio in a very, very small town called Bristolville, Ohio.
Yes.
Which, by the way, shout out to the Cavaliers.
Shout out to them.
Yes.
Yes.
Golden State, you're going down, Steph.
Now, I don't know about that,
Okay.
Mr. Lane. But yes, Trishna.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, we're talking about the Cavs.
That's
I mean, I
yes,
can talk
we
about that all day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So you were there, and from you had a great family, like you said. You had
Yes.
brothers and sisters that you were with also.
Yeah, I have a brother. He's also adopted, but he's adopted from America here. Yes.
Fantastic. Now, what about coming to Los Angeles? How did that transition occur?
Oh, man. So, I grew up in Ohio.
Yes.
I went to college in Boston at Berklee College of Music. Then I moved to New York, and I was in New York for 5-6 years. And we kind of stumbled across each other, Drew, and, kind of was flying back and forth for a couple of years. And there was just so much, we wanted to do. We wanted to get more done. So the best, decision was to move to LA.
This is
So
a
I've
great
only
decision.
been here for like a month, guys.
Really? Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
You're going to love LA. One thing I tell you
I love
about it's really a city, what I call phenomenal possibility, opportunity, and entrepreneurial growth. So if you have the work ethic, the dream, and the vision to really make your life phenomenal, it'll give you that and more. I'll share a
Absolutely.
quick story with you. When I was moving out here initially, one of my good friends at the time, who's not a friend now, which is a good thing, he told me, he said, when I was coming out, he said, "Oh, Levi, you going to LA?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, man, it's going to be terrible. The people are going to be phony. It's going to be rough. You're not going to find a place to stay. They got earthquakes." So I looked at him. I said, "Man," I'm going to make my life phenomenal. I said, when I get out there, the people are going to be wonderful. I'm going to have great friends. I'm going to meet wonderful people. I said, everything I want and more is going to come my way. I said, it's going to be just fantastic.
Right.
He said, "You'll see." I said, "Well, you see. It's been fantastic,
Here you
wonderful,
are.
prosperous,
Look
and
at
happy."
you. Yes.
So
absolutely.
I really think it's so important to remember that we truly do attract to us, number one, what we think we're worthy of receiving, and number two, what we think we can get. If you think
Right.
you're going to go check by check, it's going to be difficult month to month. You're never going to be in a great relationship, always struggling, artist, always be doing things as a second job and not really pursue what you want. If you
Right.
really think that, you're going to get that. If you think greatness, if you believe in yourself, if you work with a mentor like with Mr. Lane here, trust me,
Absolutely.
it will come to pass. It really will. Let's talk about your music. What's your favorite genre of music?
I wouldn't say favorite because I like
You like it
I
all.
grew up singing. I was classically trained.
Yes. Well, you were at Berklee
yeah,
in Boston.
Yeah, so I was classically trained, but I like pop. I like R&B. I like the hip hop. I like the rap. I
Love
like.
it.
I like everything.
Love
So,
it.
but my genre is pop R&B music.
Right. Well, as a classically trained vocalist from Berklee, when you look at your development, do you think you would go and move into like Broadway shows, for example, or sing in opera, or sing on the stage, or was your focus really about becoming a music artist?
Mine was becoming a music artist, but I would never, turn down a job doing,
course
theater or
not.
Broadway,
Right.
obviously. But but my main thing was I wanted to be a recording artist.
Yes. And that's what you're doing right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
What's on the forefront for you coming up?
I mean, right now we just finished my EP, and we're gonna be.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really, really excited about it. Some great songs on there, and I mean, we're just gonna be moving forward. And we had some anthems that I just sang for the Cavaliers,
Fantastic.
Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And so we just got a lot of great movement.
Right.
A lot of great things going on, and So
Well,
I'm really
I think it's
excited.
great too because you're also a part of No BS Entertainment, which is really wonderful
Yes.
too. So working with Mr. Lamar is also an opportunity to really continue your growth. So think about it. You have two mentors. You have Lamar and you have Mr. Lane.
Right.
How can you not go there?
Yeah, and we're a great team. We're a great team. It's about working together and communicating, and
True.
I mean, it's just we're moving.
That's right.
You're going to move.
And
You're going to
we're
move.
moving forward. So
Absolutely.
it's a way to go. So
Well, I'm really happy for you. I want to say welcome
you.
to LA. LA is going to
Thank
be
you.
so phenomenal for you. Again, like Stone and yourself, I can't wait to come and see you guys perform. And also, when I say come and see you perform, I'm going to buy my ticket to come.
Oh, yeah.
I want to support
All
you.
right.
I want
Thank
to
you.
support you. So I can't tell you when I'm doing like a talk, like a motivational talk or something somewhere, and my friend will say, "Oh, Levi, I want to come to see you. Can you count me a ticket?" It's like, hey, why don't you come and support the cause?
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, thank
That's
you.
true.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Mr. Lane, what can you say?
Wow.
More phenomenalness there, more
Yes.
greatness, more beauty, more joy, more conviction to being phenomenal. I mean, you're doing it.
And you know what's great about these guys too, that they help drive me too.
I believe that.
We're like musical physicians.
Absolutely.
There's no time limit. 24 hours is really not 24 hours.
Nope.
7 days is not really 7 days in a week. It's cyclical.
Absolutely.
And there's really no time, signature or limit on
Right.
it. And these guys push me too.
Right.
It's like, Trishna, wakey. I'm like, oh man.
I know. I text them all the time. I'm like,
God.
wakey,
You
Drew.
really?
Let's go. Let's go.
I just
Because
went to bed at 6 in the morning.
I have the New York mentality. You know what I mean?
You're doing
so
the right
I'm
thing.
like, let's go, Drew. Let's go. And he's like, relax.
I just went to bed, But I love that, and with Stoney, he's like, what an amazing, when you hear people say yes, sir, you're like, what, because you don't hear that,
Right.
like what up, or but very prolific in manners, and then in the studio, hey man, when you're done, I'll get in at 2 or 3 in the morning, and he's driving the ship. These guys know, they're not just vehicles, they're drivers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They help drive the career, and it gives you a lot of just satisfaction knowing that, wow, this is what it's all about.
I think it's great. Looking at Stone as you're talking, Scott Stone and Trishna, it's really clear that they're listening to everything that you're saying. And I think they live by the motto that myself and my manager, Janet, live by, and that is sleep is so overrated.
Oh, yeah.
It really
Absolutely.
is.
Look at Einstein,
Absolutely.
I don't even know what sleep is.
Absolutely. Because I always think that when I'm going to bed, what have I not done?
Right,
What has
that's true.
not been completed? And what else can I do more of to make not only my life better, but the world a better place?
That's true.
So I think these two are really representations of making a difference. And as you said so well, not just being followers, but driving the creative boat to make things happen in their lives and for the studios.
Absolutely. When you see them perform, it's just, amazing.
I can't wait.
Because, like, in Jared's case, because, like you said, you have alter egos when
Yes.
you have Sasha Fierce and you have Beyonce. You had Notorious B.I.G. and you had Biggie,
Absolutely.
And so, and what Jared really helped me to see, because you learn from your artists too,
Right.
is that you could help motivate, but you can also innovate too.
That's
You don't have
true.
to be in the same box, because like being an actor, like
Right.
Denzel could play Malcolm, but then he could play, the coach,
Yes, he
Coach
can.
Boone. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Exactly.
and people need to realize that,
Right.
don't put yourself in a box, be the universe.
Absolutely.
And that's
be
what I
the
love
universe.
about these guys.
Well, with yourself, Jared, Jared Scott Silas, your alter ego is Stoney Scott,
Yeah.
Scott Stone.
Mine are like direct.
Right,
Like
right.
one of them is a motivational speaker in
Right,
schools,
right.
like with kids, and then the other one's like just a rapper. Like
Absolutely.
if they heard that, I wouldn't be in the school. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But no, my boss at the schools, he knows about it, and he's just like, yo, just keep the name separate, and let's
Right.
do this, because he
That's
really
correct.
likes what I do. So I motivate speaks since I was 16 years old. I'm 20
Fantastic.
now. So.
Well, let's talk about some of that also, because right now we know on the social platform today we often hear about bullying. What do you say when you're giving your talks about bullying and about acceptance and inclusivity?
Well, I mean, to get real with you for a second,
I wanna be real.
We had 7 kids in our town in 1 year commit suicide.
Wow.
And
that's sad.
I knew 4 of them, and 2 of them were actual friends of mine.
Right.
And so at that point, I was 15 years old, so I wrote a song called Life Lessons, and I took it to the schools, and I was like, hey, yo, can I put this in all of our schools? Can we rap this to the kids so, like, we can stop this, you know?
Yes. Give us a few verses of that.
And so growing up as a kid, I'd have never thought of this. Living in a small town, feeling like I don't exist. I'm not my mama's favorite. I'm not my daddy's either. Every day facing hate, and it don't stop to take a breather. Like, come on, I'm a kid. I got time before I grow up. We've seen a lot of bad, but there's more than what we know of. Oh, you've been there? No, you haven't. We live lives you can't imagine. Seeing kids lose their lives to this thing called suicide.
Ooh, that's powerful, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Powerful.
Knowledge.
Yeah, there is knowledge. You know, I love it, man. The lyrics are very powerful and they're very heartfelt.
Yes, sir. I mean, because all that was real. I mean, we'd all knew somebody. And when I said it, everybody got quiet. Like, you know, kids won't stop talking when
Yes,
you're in there.
right.
And I mentioned something like that. Like, yo, y'all raise your hands if y'all know somebody. You
That
know,
touched
and everybody
everybody.
just like stopped. And they're all like, you know, because everybody knew. Because it was a small town. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, we all knew somebody. And I met a Globetrotter named Melvin Adams.
Yes.
He was speaking at the same school that I was speaking at. He's like, hey, I want to take you with some of the former Globetrotters and me, and we travel and we speak. So I went all over
Fantastic.
Texas.
Fantastic.
Then I met this organization called Teen Truth, and so they go all over the world. So I just started that this year. So
I think it's great. You know, again, it shows that your artists are not simply about self, but about selflessness.
That's right.
You know, it's really, I tell you, just so refreshing to hear that. I love the fact that you're really helping individuals who want to help other people.
Right.
You know.
And they also they help themselves too. It's like, you know, Trishna, she'll do whatever it takes to make this happen. You
Absolutely.
know? It's like, you know, sometimes we'll do a vocal, you know, and Jared does this too. And sometimes, and Jeff, I know you see him in the room. Sometimes we might do a vocal like 20, 30 times, you know, and it's taxing. That's more than singing a, you know, 3 or 4 hour gig, you know, because it's taxing on your voice, you know, the larynx,
Absolutely.
the uvula,
everything gets inflamed. Oh, yes.
Exactly. And just to keep doing it and to keep doing it and to keep doing it was just a testament of, wow, you know, we're executing greatness right here.
Well, she is that because, you know, think about it. She's had opportunity to work with Dionne Warwick. You've worked with her before. Yes. You've sung all these anthems. More importantly, you have been present to do the work, which I think is really wonderful. Right. You know, so many people want celebrity, they want fame, and some people really don't understand that. Fame doesn't mean money. There are a lot of broke celebrities. You know, it doesn't mean that. You know, fame just means fame. Celebrity means celebrity. So I think it's great when you can make this what I call trifecta of fame, service, and advocacy. When everything is together there, I believe it really unfolds in a way that the universe has for the purpose of our lives. I believe that. Could be wrong, but I think that's part of why we're here, you know. When you look at what you're doing, as I asked the other artist, Trishna, you know, because I know you're going to do great things, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I mean, I like to see myself in 5 years. I mean, obviously, you know, touring and making a difference and traveling. I know you guys were talking about traveling. I love to travel. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. I'd like to say I'd like to win a Grammy, a couple Grammys.
You know what? Why don't we put that out right now? Let's do that right now. So, now watch this. Law of Attraction here, 101. So you and I and Stoney Scott and Andrew Lane are going to right now, the 4 of us are going to agree that you will be a Grammy Award winner. You heard it here first on the Dr. Levi
That's right,
show.
and we
That's
agree.
yes.
That's right.
What about
Within
you, Stone? You want one? Within the next 5 years. What about you, Scott Stone?
Man,
You want
I
one?
for sure want to be on a tour, and I for sure want to be traveling. That's like the goal. You know
Great.
what I'm saying? That's the goal. It's just to travel and be able to do what you do and not have to like worry about like, can I pay for this? You know,
No,
can
you
I
don't
get
worry
it? Because
about
that's
that.
the only thing that really stops you
Yes.
at the end of the day. Because if somebody said, hey, man, I'll give you all the money, I'll pay for everything, and you go travel the world, but I'm not going to pay you, dude, I would do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person I would do that.
Yes.
You pay for everything, I'm cool. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, just pay for me and a few of my friends, and we're on our way.
Well, now you got this great managerial mind here of Andrew Lane where
Yes,
you won't
sir.
be just doing anything for any wooden nickels. You'll be doing it because you should be properly paid, you know, for your creativity, for your talent. Same with you, Trishna, you know. So don't forget, today we said it.
That's right.
Now watch the magic unfold because the universe is listening. So just watch. I want to be there, and I'll pay for that ticket too. To be in the audience when you get that Grammy, and I'm gonna look at Andrew Lane, and I'm gonna say,
I told you guys.
I told you. I said when she said it, and we affirmed it. You just watch. I think belief is like the fourth step to our imagination. And if you believe in yourself, I think there's nothing that can stop you but yourself.
That's true.
So I just I can't wait to be there when she wins that. You and I are going to talk about it.
That's right.
And I'm going to buy a bottle of Dom Perignon
All right, let's do it.
it'll be something like a big bottle of some real champagne. I don't drink, but I'm going to drink that night for you. So you heard it here live. Now, what about this, Trishna and Scott Stone? If people want to get to you guys on social media, how can they reach you, Trishna? What's your social media platform?
Social media, guys. Instagram and Twitter is Trishna Music.
Spell that out.
TRISHNA Music. And I also have a website, www.trishnamusic.com.
Fantastic.
And you can find me on Facebook, just Trishna.
Awesome.
Just type it in. You guys can find me.
And they can contact you.
Yes.
What about yourself,
Yes.
Stone Scott?
Stoney Scott. It's STONEY. Scott SCOTT.
Yes.
And it's the same like Stoney Scott official. Stoney Scott official.
Awesome.
On all of them.
And both of you are available for speaking, for acting, for singing, any platform in entertainment. You're available and ready.
Yep, just hit us
Great.
up.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I
it
say
on.
ready because you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
That's true.
That's
What did Big
important.
Mike say that?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's very, very
that's
true.
right. That's
You
right.
know, and what about yourself, Miss Lane? How can they contact you? Because I know they can get you through No BS Entertainment, but what about your social media
Yeah,
platforms?
DrewWrightMusic.com because Drew does music the right way.
Yes, he does.
Thought
Yes,
I'd
he
throw that in.
does.
And then Drew Lanester, Instagram, Drew Lanester, Twitter. You know, you can
Like
reach
it.
me there. And like I said, we want to fill the universe, full of Emmys, Grammys, Oscars.
They're sitting right here.
That's right.
They're sitting right
and then we
here.
got the younger ones in the room too.
Absolutely.
Everybody's young here,
Yes,
you know.
yes, yes.
But it's really all about, like you said, setting out that course and not letting anybody take you off. That
No
course.
one. You know, I think for myself at 35 plus, I always look at
That's
my
right.
dreams as just beginning.
That's
you know,
right.
they're literally just beginning.
That's right.
You know, now seeing all of these artists here today, what does it do for you internally? It has to warm your heart. It has to put your brain on fire of like, wow, what do we do next? Because they're going to push you, and
Yes,
they should.
Yes, exactly. It really it motivates, and it gives you that determination. That,
Yes.
Wow, the music business can be saved.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because these guys are all about the music.
Yes.
The lyrical content,
Yes.
the creativity, everything that's embodied about the music business, they are. And because the music business is in a transition, but these are transitioners.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I'm glad to be a part of that.
No, I think it's wonderful, for myself as a, I write music also. Actually, I write songs. I don't write music. I write songs, and I write a lot of spoken word.
Oh, nice.
When I heard him speaking, I was thinking it was so heartfelt. And when I heard him rapping, I thought that came from a place of authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a look at me moment.
Right.
It was a look at this situation.
Right,
Let's make it
exactly.
better.
There you go.
So you really have a compilation of great artists that are about service, change, and real excellence. So I applaud you, Mr. Lane.
And
I really do.
And I want them all to continue to grow too, because not only as artists and actors and actresses,
Yes.
become directors.
Absolutely. Behind the camera, just as
Yeah.
important.
Own a film company.
Absolutely.
Own a skyscraper.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And pass that entertainment DNA as far as you can go.
Absolutely. I love that statement of owning because, there's a quote that I saw with Oprah Winfrey, and I've never forgotten it. And they were asking her, what was the role that she loved the most and how difficult was it? So she talked about The Color Purple. And she said one thing that she never wanted to do again was to beg anyone to do a role. She said the most important thing that I learned from that was to own myself.
That's
And
right.
I saw that interview many, many years ago. That has always been at the forefront of my mind, that whatever I do, whatever I'm involved with, one, there's no deal too big enough that I can't walk away with my integrity no matter how much money's on the table. And two, whatever I'm involved with, I want to own myself.
Love it.
So I hope you guys remember that. You have a great mentor here who
Yes, sir.
is really an authentic, real man about truth and about honesty. It's not about getting over on you. There's no director's couch here. He is a man of integrity. I can feel that and I know it. So I hope you really do listen to him. I hope you take those lessons to heart, and more importantly, go out and make the world a better place, because the world is really waiting for you. It's waiting for you. Your hopes and dreams will make the world better. Your voices, your messages, your ability to talk about it will make the world better. So I hope you do it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. Well, this is Dr. Levi. I want to thank you again for listening to us. Great show today with Trishna, with Scott, with Kaitlyn. It just and with Tilly. Did I say her name?
Yeah,
Tilly also. Yeah. It was just a great show, and of course with the mesmerizing and magnetic Andrew Lane. What can we say about this man? Oh. Iconic. That's what he is. And very, very humble. So it's great to work with him today. And I want to tell all of you, again, go out into the world and make the world a better place. And remember, the purpose of life is to have a purpose. Mm-hmm. This is Dr. Levi. Have a great week. See you back next week. Golden State Cavaliers. We'll see.
Cavs.
Take care, everybody. Levi.
All right.